That match was a heartbreaker. Not in the way that you think, though, because I think the way how our defense played, especially, oh my goodness, why is this falling? Especially in transition defense, right? When you try to do the transition defense, force your way back for a defensive stop, you just lose. You're just gonna lose every freaking time. And this Inter Miami team, yeah, that was bad. That was really bad. In all fairness, though, this is a Chicago team that is fighting for a playoff spot. So that part I give credit to the Chicago Fire. They've finally done it. I think this is the first season with their coach Greg Berhalter, who coached the U.S. men's national team, completely pounded us. And this is all from breakaways and transition counters. That's something that Miami lacks pretty tough on. And Chicago clinched playoffs for the first time since 2017. That is 8 years. Chicago can finally see the soccer team go into the postseason. In between their absence, the Bears make it. I believe the Blackhawks were going through this rebuild. The Bulls were going through this play-in, stuff like that. Really, the Cubs and the White Sox were the really ones that are going in the postseason, especially the Chicago Cubs. White Sox had a good season. I think it was 2021 season before they got bounced by Houston, unfortunately. Other than that, Chicago sports has not been the prettiest. I recognize that Chicago sports has been miserable this decade. Besides the one good year, what I believe was the White Sox, but since then, the Bears have been on and awfully bad. The Cubs are a competitive team as always. The Bulls end up going to play-in every year. I don't even think they made the playoffs once. I think it was just play-in, and our Miami Heat keeps bouncing them out, and the Blackhawks keeps going on rebuilds. They can finally bring in some happiness knowing that one of their teams is actually going to postseason. And with that being said, the Red Bulls are now officially out of playoffs. I think the Red Bulls are done. So, congratulations to the Chicago Fire for finally advancing to the final. Excuse me, to the postseason. That is a remarkable. We deserve. To be frank with you, we deserve to lose. Yeah, we made this comeback. It was a great comeback, and it ends up being a great game. But the transition defense is awful. Some of their guys who don't even score ends up scoring against Inter Miami. Yes, screw you too. Like John Dedeen is one example, and Justin Reynolds is also an example. Avia de Ta. Are you fucking kidding me? Scoring the 11th minute. Next up is Jonathan Dean, who was wide open on counter. Absolutely wide open. Nobody gets him. He scores his first MLS goal. At least I think that's his first MLS goal. Avalos will respond, getting through the corner kick, just had to penetrate the ball to the back of the net to make it 2-1 affair. Cool. Then, right before halftime, Kuame, if I said it correctly, I don't think I got it right, but I tried my best. In the 43rd minute, scores to make it 3-1 Chicago. Then in the second half, 2 goals were scored by Luis Suarez. Absolute nice goals for Luis Suarez. 2 goals for him. Tying up 3-3, which is remarkable. And Miami is getting some chances. The problem is they're not putting in. And another example of our transition defense is not effective, especially if it's a team that is trying to make the postseason. Justin Reynolds would just easily buries it with the left foot. It's like a chip in because he was so wide open in the box. That pretty much that's their game-winning goal. And then the dagger is a bullet shot from Brian Gutierrez. I mean, that was like 20 yards out, and he makes that in. That was a crazy goal, an insane goal. That's something that Messi would do, something that Suarez would do. But this is Gutierrez who scores that from outside the box. Where was our defense? What are we doing here? The issue is we played too many games that fatigue is becoming a factor. That is an honest truth, and I said this a long time ago. Fatigue might be a problem with too many games played. Yes, they're putting on good results and putting on some wins, but when a loss like this, you just have to wonder sometimes. I'm not going to blame fatigue on that. No, the transition defense was not good tonight. And also, too, Chicago Fire was just a plain better team tonight. And it sucked. It absolutely sucked that it had to happen at home. At home, nonetheless. When we played them at Chicago, there was no scoring at all. It was a far cry from what was compared to that game and this game. It's just a completely different story here. And Chicago wins 5-3 over into Miami. It's just not necessary to lose this one. And I think Inter Miami kind of lose their chances to winning the Supporters' Shield. For me, that's okay because we're trying to win the MLS Cup. I don't want that Supporters' Shield curse again, to be honest. So nothing else to say other than Inter Miami got their ass whooped. They get their asses whooped, and next game is against New England. We go in the month of October. This is 3 games left. 3 games left of the season. And most of them are at home. New England coming in this Saturday. And finally, Inter Miami finally catches a break for once. We get a week off. And, midweek off, I would say. Then the next game is against Atlanta. That's a game that you should be able to beat. Hopefully you put up some big numbers against Atlanta. I like some revenge in that one, some redemption. That might be a game I'm going to go to. And then Nashville. And then to end the regular season, it's against Nashville SC up in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm surprised that it took this long to play Nashville in Nashville, Tennessee. Because generally speaking, they would play each other in the middle of the season or early in the season. They're playing this on decision day. That's kind of wild to me. But anyway, guys, I'm done talking about this. This is me wearing a white jersey as a way of saying, yeah, they have completely surrendered after the 4th goal and just the dagger from Guterres. It was just a mess. It was a mess of a defensive especially in a transition failure. It was a transition failure for Inter Miami, and Chicago capitalized on it. So good for them for making a postseason. So congrats. So I'm not gonna say, hey, yeah, we that. No, our transition defense was awful. Chicago capitalized on it, and they're shooting goals. So they're fighting for the playoffs. I mean, this was a trap game. This became a trap game for Inter Miami, and that sucks. So once again, congratulations to Chicago for advancing to the playoffs. They have absolutely earned it with the way how the franchise has been, with the way how their season has been going. They absolutely deserved it. So good luck in the playoffs. And if we meet again, well, we're not gonna be as friendly as we were in this one. Anyway, man, that's gonna do it. If you like this video, hit the button, subscribe for content. We have a few days off from Miami sports, so take some time to rest. And we got 2 games on Saturday. That's gonna be interesting. All right, man, that's gonna do it. I'll see you guys next time. Adios.